Design by Robert Frost is a beautifully simplistic poem revolving around the idea of designs in nature, focusing on a spider in its web, resting on a flower. It is an Italian sonnet composed of two parts, an octave and a sestet. This format, used by many poets, presents a main idea in the octave and a resolution in the sestet, allowing readers to look closely into the octave and sestet separately. The speaker is someone who appreciates and is contemplating designs within nature, and presents the idea of lightness and darkness in nature. He explains why they work together to form intricate designs. The simplistic beauty in the poem creates a familiar feeling, making it easy for readers to connect to the poem. The tone of design is contemplative. The speaker wonders how the natural order of the world around him works, and how it pieces together. He wonders why a moth must get caught in a spider's web, even if it had gotten caught there by a stray gust of wind. He realizes that the plot of the spider isn't evil, but only natural. He wonders why the whiteness of the flower the spider has perched on is contrasted with the black hue implied by the death of the moth. The death is also the central conflict within the poem, light versus dark. The octave poses the idea of the light and dark mingling together, explained by the phrase, mixed ready to begin the morning right, like the ingredients of a witch's broth. The sestet proposes the solution to the question of light against dark, posing the idea that they work together and are both needed for nature to function. Both the light and dark are needed for the intricate designs in nature to come to fruition, and to continue the order of the natural world as it stands, represented in the form of a moth blown into a spider's web. Frost uses similes and imagery to create a visible element in the poem. The simile, like a white piece of rigid satin cloth, creates an image of the white flower that the spider has created a web upon. The flower is stiff and solid, holding both the spider and the moth as the spider begins to feed. Another simile, like the ingredients of a witch's broth, creates the image of the delicate flower and spider's web mixing with the death of the fragile moth. While the moth's life was taken, the death is seen as a dark moment in the poem, mixing with the light intricacies of the flower and the web. Another simile, like a paper kite, shows how delicate, thin, and light all of the life around the flower is, specifically the wings on the deceased moth. The wings symbolize the fragility of the natural world. Imagery is an important aspect in this poem as well. The speaker uses words like dimpled and snowdrop to describe the small spider holding the moth in its web. The speaker also uses words like froth and phrases like wayside blue and innocent to describe the flower. This allows the reader to visualize the smaller white flower that the spider has made its home on. The image that is seen in the poem is a small spider in its web in a small white flower catching moths. This image brings the theme of light and dark into the poem, as the reader can visualize the delicate nature of the flower and insects with the shadow of death. Imagery and similes make the poem pop in readers' heads, bringing attention to the simplicity of the spider web and the actions occurring in nature. The use of figurative language explains how natural design is connected to the lightness and darkness involved in the natural world. Robert Frost's poem Design is expressing the idea of natural design and the purpose of it. It also questions how and why designs occur within the natural world. While he thinks it must be because of the orderly fashion of nature, he wonders if all intricate objects are designed by the natural world. The speaker of the poem, someone familiar with nature, puts forth the idea of nature being relaxed and calm, having designs that occur and natural order that controls itself. Focused on the idea of nature and natural order, the poem Design by Robert Frost is beautiful because of its simplicity.